every skateboard at the factory. So we're going to teach you guys how we're going to make a skateboard shape. Aaron wants to see a board that's sort of like filmer board, retro, old school, maybe somewhere in between all that. We're going to make it short, make it whippy and tight, and make it a lot of fun. So here's the process we're going to use. We're making a cardboard template here for a half template of it, and we're going to draft that out, and then we're going to hand make a board from it, and then we'll send it back to see what Aaron thinks of it. So I'm thinking in the idea of compact is we don't want a super long nose. I think 7 is good, but I think making it longer, we start to lose that idea of making it compact. You know, makes it churn quick at 14-inch wheelbase. So here I'm marking out the wheelbase on the template here. I'm getting the framing of all the parameters. Okay, so here we're gonna make a 7-inch nose, 14-inch wheelbase, go 6 and 7/50 tail. Okay. Round this off of this one with a side arc out of this one. And go a little more meat right there. Now I'm going to take this tail and mesh it with that. So look at that, and you can see the sort of the additive subtraction from the lines, right? That really nice crowned wall. You see my pencil line sort of out here. When I cut it with the scissors, I use the line as a basis, but I really just let the flow go, right? You know, and that's part of these big scissors. They flow really good. Now I'm going to take the sanding block. So this is a tool to build the tool, basically, right? So taking this block, and you see how I can kind of look at the lines disappear, and you can see how it flows together really nice. It's a lot better than I could ever cut it with scissors or anything. Gets an organic flow going. What do you think, Daniel? Could you film on half of that?
Yeah, that looks sick.
Look how nice that flows. Look at it from the non-grid, right? Like the grid distracts you in one way, but it informs you, right? And then you get it out of the way, you get to see it. Let's go check that. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go put this on top of a blank, and we're going to cut out a board and find the right plywood to put it on. And that was this one. And if I remember right, the board that Aaron liked that we referenced when I first made samples for him was a Habitat board he used to ride back when he was young. Yeah. And that's this mold. So here I'm marking to find the center of the board. Got some little holes here and some parameters controlling things for me. So there I'm getting the center of the board. I'm laying it out. Here I'm verifying the center of the board. Make sure everything's working right. Looking really good. So now I'm marking the holes on here. Sort of the math of everything is based on that. In my Create Escape program, I actually don't drill the holes. They come pre-drilled because it's sort of like the alignment to a car. It's got to be precision. But in this case here, I'm just working in my shop in a one-off proto. So here I'm making a parallel line on the outside of the board just to show where the outside's going to be. So now we can see I got this drafted out. It's purple, a little easier to see than the black we had earlier. You can see the sort of taper here and there. And now I'm gonna cut it out and jam this thing out. See what you think. So at the factory, I have a machine that drills all 8 holes at once in a stack of skateboards. Here, I'm just using a drill press and drilling the holes one at a time. We're just making one, right? And at the factory, we don't actually use a bandsaw. We just cut them all into chips. If you check out my Instagram, you can probably find a picture of the shaper shaping boards. It's pretty crazy because it just cuts everything away. I'm not winning, am I? Purple popping.
My favorite color.
My favorite color.
You see here, I'm sanding it to the shape. On the bandsaw, I cut it outside the line by about a 16th to an 1/8 of an inch. And just like with the sanding block, I can sand it and get it more precision than I can with the saw. What do you think of that? Beautiful. How's the flow look? Amazing. What are you gonna do, Daniel? Mount a camera on this thing? Make it a filmer board? So now we can see the edge is semi-round. It's not perfectly round yet. Now we're going to take it over here to the sander. So every skateboard at the factory goes through a router like that, and every skateboarder goes on a sander like this. So you see this has air in it. It's like a balloon. So we're now going to dance this board on the balloon. Smooth it out. On the backside, you can see the sawdust flying away. Things are happening, right? So now I'm going to grab a piece of hand sandpaper and just give it a final polish around the edges. Make it all buttery, smooth, and round. There we go. See the beautiful shape. Look at that cruiser. It's going to jam up a curb, slappy it, 8 7/8 wide, 14-inch wheelbase, 7-inch nose, 6 3/4 tail. Coming out just shy of 32. Nice and compact, right? You know, so when you're filming and you know, you don't want to land on it like this when you're filming, you know. It's an important thing not to do, right? So I'm put a quick coat of paint on it, seal it up, clear coat it up. So here I'm putting a coat of clear paint on it. You can see the colors start to pop as the paint goes on, because what's happening is the pores of the wood are getting plugged up with clear paint. And the clear is magnifying the color and making the grain of the wood pop. The first coat goes on to seal it, and the second coat will go on to gloss it. Now this first coat will dry real quick because it soaks into the pores. The other side. Purple wood grain looks so good. So at the factory we have a paint booth and paint guns and fans and everything else. This isn't quite so professional here, but you know, I'm just going for it. After all, it's only for air, what does it matter?
It's like the perfect color. Blue and purple just...
Okay, so this is the last part of the production process. The same thing happens at the factory. This is a heat transfer piece of film with ink on it, and it's going to get transferred down to the board. Now I picked this first try graphic because I want to find out what Aaron's going to try on this prototype first try, right? Because you know, it's got his preferred wheelbase, nose and tail length, and mold. So it might just ride exactly like his regular board. So here we go. The roller's coming down, it's getting squeezed in there. I'm holding the transfer, trying to keep it from wrinkling. See if we can get a perfect one out of this one. My patience for waiting for paint to dry just isn't there. So I'm waiting for the temperature to wick out of this thing. So what happens there is the silicone roller has heat, and that heat and pressure took the residual solvent in the paint and in the transfer and makes it stick together. So we see here now, if everything's right, we sort of just take this transfer and we peel and break the ink on the edge of the board. Just go in here. Better clean this one up on the edges for the boss. So every skateboard at the factory, if the graphic goes off the edge, it gets scraped like this to get the edge to look all nice. Now it's crazy, we do all this work to make it look perfect, and you guys go out and nose slide and grind and tail slide and rough it up. But hey, it's all worth it because you're having fun, right? There we go, so check it out. 14-inch wheelbase, 8 7/8 wide, 7-inch nose, 6 3/4 tail, just shy of 32 inches long. So it's a nice compact board. Now, depending on your desires, you might want to go film a video on this thing. You might want to slash a curb. You might want to drop in a pool. Who knows? As long as you have fun, that's all that matters. Go out there, first try.
But yeah, thanks so much for everything. We got you a little bit of a
All right, thank you.
bonus items for you.
Cool. All right. Got a hat, a couple shirts. All right, they're even my size. I feel lucky. Yeah. Have you ever wondered what skate science is? Well, I'm the professor. I'm here to help you. What do you want to know?